And welcome back to the channel, where we're going to tear down this Coleman lamp and, if possible, convert it from 8D cell batteries to lithium. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Right, here we are. Coleman lamp. First thing to do, it's too big to go completely under. We can remove the top, get that out the way. That leaves us with this base. Now, the base unscrews, leaving us with the top of the 8D batteries on a rotating plate that interlocks with the hole in there, and we have 4 screws which hold this on. So let's remove them. Hopefully that ring should come out. Safekeeping. I'll just drop. Oops, if it will go down the hole, I'll drop it in the hole. That holds them out of the way. Right, what does that leave us now? That leaves us with 4 more screws, if you can see them down there. Now, straight away we have a problem. We have a broken wire. So I think the first thing to do is heat up the iron, and we'll take these off. I like the way they tin the wires, but didn't cut them back. Right, so a base plate. What else comes undone? That doesn't seem to want to undo. 3 more screws. Let's move those 4 out of the way. We've got to take it apart because I know it has 8 batteries, but why has it got 4 wires? Does it run 2 pairs of 4 in parallel? Got to get in here to see what the circuitry is, and also work out how to modify it. Well, there we go. We have a switch that is activated by a crude mechanism that just basically rotates on the outside but pushes that backwards and forwards. And unfortunately they look like screws, but they're hot state. So that's a little bit of a bugger, so to speak, which means I might have to chomp them off. Not staked by much by the look of it. No. Right, so that comes off, leaving us just that. So we'll strip that out as well while we're here to see what the LED is. Coleman is a good brand, but this doesn't look like it's been made very well. Oh, and look at that tiny little LED. Not sure how that bit comes apart, but I'm wondering, is there enough room in there? If you drilled that hole out, could we fit a bigger LED? Oop, it just rolled off the ground, off the desk, and hit the ground. So, not exactly a massive LED, but maybe you don't need a massive LED for this. So, let's go back to work out a circuit so I know how I need to work the batteries. That's okay. Rescue the bit that fell on the ground and hope it hasn't broken. Nope, looks good. So what have we got here? Let's get a post-it note. Why have we got? So from the batteries, we have black, black, you can't see this, can you? Oh well. It's not very good, is it? Right, what about this? From that, we have a black, a black, we have a red, and a red. The red comes in through diodes to a central point. So that's red, red, black, black. So that means 4 batteries. So we got 6 volts, 6 volts. That's the diodes. So there. And then we have a resistor, a resistor, and a resistor, and then a switch. And I suppose the switch is either on the LED goes to the ground, and then we have those points diode ORed. Then we have a switch, and in that position, in one position we have one resistor Oops, didn't draw this very well. And in this position we have two in parallel, so that's basically it. So they're basically running the LED with 6 volts, and they're diode ORing two packs, or 4 D-sized batteries in series in parallel. And so the actual battery then is there. So not a complicated circuit when it's got a centre off. So I expect that is high power and that is low power, and the value of the resistors are 47 gold. Well, that one's a, would that be a 4.7 ohm? And these are 43. So would that be 4.3 gold? So, and can't see what the diodes are, but they're just diodes, common garden diodes. So that's it. Now we've got to work out a circuit. I could run the LED off 4.2 volts, change the resistor values, and then I can run, I've got 3 lithium batteries, because I was thinking that with 8 cells it's going to run 8 times 1.5, so 12 volts. So 3 lithium cells would have been good for 12 volts. But of course now I know it's 6 volts. Well, 3 lithium cells is no good for 6 volts. But changing either resistor values or using some electronics, there's a possibility it will run quite happily on 4.2. That gives me the opportunity then of putting the 3 cells in parallel and giving me a longer lasting light. And being in parallel, of course, it makes it easier to charge because there's no balancing. So switch is a bit iffy. So while I'm diddling, working out what I'm going to do, I thought I'd unsolder the switch, give it a clean up or have a look at it and decide where I want to move, because I want to use the switch slightly different. In my new idea, rather than having resistors as the current limit, I'm thinking of using a FET. Getting the high and low power by pulse width modulation. So we'll have to see. As I've done some swift calculations on the board, and you're wasting about, I suppose, at one point close to 50% of the power from your battery you're wasting. Yes. I'm not sure if you'll see it on here. I just made a few notes. When it's switched to high power and those two 4.3 resistors are in parallel, it draws 890 milliamps. And resistors measure at 2.2 ohms. So we're getting about 1.4 watts of heat from those two resistors. But we're only getting, if you take out the actual, if you just measure the current through the LED and the voltage, it was a 3 volt LED. And so we're getting like 2.7 watts of light, but we're wasting 1.74 watts of heat. So we're wasting more of the energy of the battery in heat than we are light. And then in low power we get 415 milliamps flowing through that resistor, which is about 0.8 of a watt across it. But again, we're only producing a maximum of 1.2 watts of light if the LED was 100% efficient, but 0.8 watts of heat. So to me that's silly. So I want to see if that switch is a double pole, double throw, I suppose, because it's got two contacts in parallel. Now, one of those contacts might be enough to supply the amount of current. I can still use the switch. I can still use this board to hold the switch in the right place, and I'll just lay a board in the space behind, or space on top, and you know, that'll give me space to put a FET and some pulse width modulation control, maybe even the charge board. We'll see. Might have to probably get a bigger soldering iron. One day I'm going to invest in a vacuum solder removal system, as opposed to a solder sucker. Which, if you're a youngster, I've had that about 30, 40 years, and it's probably on its first nozzle still. So, can these break free yet? Give them a wiggle. No, that one's not free. Those two are free. Is that one free? Not really. So we're getting close. That middle one I think is still tricky diggy. They're all loose, but it don't want to come. I don't really want to force it. Hey, success. That doesn't make sense. Oh. Push to the end of the travel nothing. And then that must be... Oh, that's an off. That's like an off position. And that's an on, that if you go to the end of the travel, it doesn't quite work. So it's something dicky with that switch. And on this side, I'm hoping it's a double pole. No, nothing. Oh, it is double pole, but it's a tricky dicky. So, do we risk opening this up? Possibly. It don't look too good, does it? Does. Is there a word such as does? Doesn't look too good, does it? Or should it be does? Get the poo. As far as I can zoom in. Yep. Right. I want to take that out because it's obviously a ball bearing. As obviously you can see, there's a ball bearing in there. It gives it the snap action. Here are the wipers. So there is only an on, but there is a mid position that goes to some contacts that are cut off. Oh, it's not out, we can get out of focus, haven't I? But you can see it's a bit nasty in there. So we'll take these off and give it a clean. What will we use? We'll use some blue paper and some IPA. See if that gets anything off. Not really. Maybe I should right, got the webcam, the microscope going. I'm not sure how well it shows up, but it's quite, the ends are a little bit discoloured. That's probably heat related or just plain tarnishing, but it could possibly why, can't get the focus quite right, why both ends are slightly discoloured. A bit of corrosion and crud. Not sure if IPA is going to fix that, which I suppose is why when it slides to the end it gets onto that crud. Yeah, there's some signs of green corrosion. So we'll give that a scrub. I'll do it off camera because it's going to take a bit. And there's a possibility that maybe they don't look too bad. I actually think I might just run some paper soaked in IPA on them, as I don't really want to risk pushing them apart too much. So I'll come back when I've cleaned it. Well, with a little bit more polishing, it's looking a bit better. Still a bit hard to get to them inside ones, but we'll see how it goes when it's back together. I used a polishing mop and some rouge on it, so let's see how it goes. Alright, here's the contacts, and I've soaked the paper in IPA alcohol, and basically I'm just going to squeeze the contacts and rub them like that. You can see there's a line appearing on the paper. Paper is reasonably abrasive, so that should help. So that's one. Let's do the other one. Oops. You can see the line's got a lot darker. Let's put it back together, see how it goes. Right, here we have the switch body. I'll put the contacts in. Now which way facing outwards and the 3 are down this end, so that must go in. Now, which is going to be easiest? Is it going to be easiest to slide on the contacts and then put them into the channel? That way at least you know they're on. Right, switch is a good one. One fixed switch. So then I suppose of bending these over. I use the pliers, the cutters. If not, I could go downstairs and use a bezel pusher that's designed for pushing bits of metal over. But I don't suppose these have got to go very far over to trap it on. I already, oops, no, that's still loose. Like I say, it almost feels like it's tight. Yeah, I don't think cutters are the way to go. Oh, pair of knockoff Leatherman waves, they might do it. That'll do. So that gives me a good switch. And what I want to do before I put it back on is, can't find my Sharpie. Here's my Sharpie. I'm going to cut down there. Actually no, I might just cut there. I only need one cut then. Basically what I'm looking for is got my LED, and then basically gonna have my FET, and what I want is I want power up there in high and low, and so that comes from the back. That's 0 volts, and then I want the other side of the switch to come off, and then a box here, little resistor there, put it down deck, and basically I'm going to want something like, you know, and something like that, and effectively they will do that. So on high power I'll have a long PWM signal, on low power I'll have a short one. So just got to find what I'm going to use for that. I could use a, I don't know, a 555. I could use an Arduino, a pick. Yeah, you can use anything. Maybe a little multi-vibrator. Just simple. And then I'll have all the power dissipated across my LED, very little across my FET, because it will be turning hard on, and I think that will make a much better lamp. Well, blow me over with a feather. This video is so long, this is going to have to turn into a series, so this is going to be part 1. So part 2, I'll go deeper into how and why I'm going to drive the LED between the 2 brightness levels. So you're going to have to come back and subscribe if you haven't. It is free. Hit the notification bell to get notified when I post the next video. Leave a comment. I love comments and I answer most of them. Well, if I answer all of them. And like the video, as it helps the algorithm.